Hello students, how are you today? In this video, we will learn our new vocabulary words that are in Unit 6, Week 5, read some parts of our story, and discuss the genre of that story. Before we start, I want you to prepare your term practice book and your vocabulary booklet. In your term practice book, you will solve your genre page, and in your vocabulary booklet, you will solve the vocabulary page. Are you ready? Let's start. This unit is super easy because we only have 4 words instead of 8. 4 vocabulary words, and the other 4 words are poetry words. And this will take us to the genre. If you remember, poetry. Our genre this week is poetry. Let's start with the vocabulary words first. The first word is entertainment. Say after me. Entertainment. Entertainment. Grandpa and Devon think playing chess is great entertainment. Do you feel entertained when you have your chess class in school? Well, if you have fun in this class, it means it's an entertainment class. You feel happy or entertained when you do this activity. So entertainment is something that interests you and amuses you. My question is, what do you like to do for entertainment? When you feel bored at home, what do you do to entertain yourself, to make yourself happy or interested? Well, I'm sure most of the boys will say, I will play soccer, or I will play PlayStation, or you will read a book. All these activities are activities to entertain yourself. What about the girls? You will say, I will play with my doll, or I will paint, for example. All your answers, I'm sure, are really interesting and are entertainment activities. The next word is humorous. Humorous. Say after me. Humorous. Humorous. Look at the 2 boys in the picture. They're laughing really hard. Ivan couldn't stop laughing at Nick's humorous story. Do you think the story is a happy story, a sad story, or a funny story? Well, it's a funny story. It's a humorous story. The definition is something that is humorous is funny and makes people laugh. Can you think about a story your friend told you before and it was really funny or humorous? Well, of course, there are plenty of stories. Can you tell me what is the synonym or another word for humorous? You can find it in the definition. Yes, it's funny or makes people laugh. Great. See how easy the words are? The third word is ridiculous. Say after me, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Jess wore a ridiculous clown nose and made his friends giggle. Look at the video.
Ridiculous. Something that is ridiculous is very silly or foolish.
Do you think this boy is funny or he's ridiculous? Well, he is really ridiculous. Why? Because he looks really silly or foolish. So look at him. Look at this silly face. So another word for ridiculous is silly. Something that is ridiculous is very silly or foolish. So what is another word for ridiculous? Silly. The last word in our vocabulary words is slithered. Say after me, slithered. Slithered. Well, when you watch this video, you will never forget what the slithered means. Look at the sentence first. The long, thin snake slithered across the floor. So it's a way of moving. How does the snake move?
Slithered. Something that
Did you see how the word slithered comes across? So this is how a snake moves. A long, thin snake. I'm sure you're trying to do this with your hand. Just put your hand and try to move your hand in a slithery way, like a snake. So slithered is when something glides or slid like a snake. So describe what slithering looks like. Anything that's slithered, it looks like a snake. Well, we're done with our 4 vocabulary words that you will find in your stories, or let's say poems. Now the other 4 new words are poetry words. Words that you need to know the meaning of them before we read any poem. So remember, what is a poem? A poem is it's like a story, but it's written in a different way. We can't say story, we say it's a poem. Our specific type of poem this week is called narrative poem. Narrative poem. What is a narrative poem? We already took this before, by the way. My favorite narrative poem tells about Paul. River is right. So what story would you tell in a narrative poem? Narrative poem is a poem that tells a story. It's not just like a normal poem. No, it's a poem about a story of a specific person, and the writer could be one of the characters in this poem. What about the word rhyme? Rhyme. We took this too. Rhyming words are words that has the same sound. For example, here they wrote for you an example. Moon, spoon. Can you pause my video and think about the plenty of rhyming words we've discussed in class? Now the third word is rhythm. Say after me, rhythm. Rhythm. This is a new word for you. Rhythm means when a whole sentence or phrase gives a music to the poem. So when a story has rhythm, it gives a sound like a drum beat. You feel that there is a drum beat in this specific poem. What about stanza? Stanza is a group of words written together. It's like a paragraph in story, but we don't say paragraph in poems. We say stanzas. Stanzas. Each stanza in Maggie's poem have 5 lines. So each stanza could have a different number of lines. Some stanzas have 4 lines, some stanzas have 5 lines, and so on. Okay, let's start with our poems. I will not use story anymore. It's a poem because our genre is poetry, and specifically our poems are narrative poems because they are telling us a story. We have 2 poems, The Camping Trip and Bubblegum. These 2 poems are written to make the reader laugh, so they are funny poems. They're really interesting if you'd like to read them and revise the vocabulary words that are highlighted in yellow. Now, let's discuss the genre and how did we know that this is a narrative poem? Let's look at, for example, Bubblegum. I can tell that this is a narrative story because it tells a story. A narrative poem because it tells a story about a specific thing. And it also has stanzas. If you can see, 1, this is the first stanza. 2, this is the second stanza. 3, this is the third stanza. And 4, this is the fourth stanza. 5, 6, and 7. So it has 7 stanzas. And each stanza has how many lines? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can see that this is a narrative poem Number one, because it tells a story. Number two, it has stanzas, and each stanza has 4 lines. And which line, let's look at the first stanza. Which lines rhyme? Which lines have the 2 rhyming words? Let's read the first stanza, for example. I bought a pack of bubblegum, as I do every week. Unwrapping 10 or 20 sticks, I popped them in my cheek. So where is the rhyming words? Yes, it's week and cheek. Week is in the second line, cheek is in the fourth line. As I said before, it's not necessary to be after each other. It's not necessary to be 2 and 3 or 3 and 4. It could be line 2 and line 4 that rhymes. Let's see line 1 and 3. Gum, sticks, it doesn't rhyme, so line 1 and 3 are not rhyming. Just line 2 and line 4. Week, cheek. Remember, rhyming words should always be in the end of the line. You can't tell me that popped and another word in the beginning of the other line rhymes, even if they do rhyme when you read them. Rhyming should be in the end because it gives a musical sound to my poem. Okay, so let's look at the genre as a revision. Here it's written, a narrative poem, it tells a story. Narrative poetry, it tells a story, and it can have any number of lines and stanzas. What is a stanza? Is a group of lines that form part of a poem. As we said in stories are divided into paragraphs, but in poems or in poetry, it's divided into stanzas. Often has rhyme and rhythm. That's all for our lesson for today. I hope it's clear for you. Don't forget to solve the 2 pages, the genre page and your vocabulary page. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.